Okay. Good morning. It is Wednesday, November 20th. So please note that I made a mistake on the agenda. It's 7:30 a.m. and this is the monthly meeting of the Narberth Police Advisory Committee. If everyone, I'm Rebecca Starr. If everyone could just go around and state their names. It's easier since we don't have name plaques. If anyone's pulling out the video. Cheryl, you want to start?
I'm Cheryl Bullitt.
John String.
Ken Kravitsky.
And Katie Steen.
So the meeting is called to order. Ken, did you send around the minutes from the last meeting? Oh, yes, you did, because we used that as draft for, does anyone have any comments on the minutes from the last meeting?
No, I mean, I think we then sent that on to Jean, right? So then that got changed again, but what Ken had, it's fine.
Agreed. And motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll move to approve.
Actually, before we make a motion, I was just trying to, the minutes that are going to be submitted for posting should not have the draft.
Correct.
And nor do I exactly know who they go to. But, probably
Kelsey, or they could sit in Alan's inbox until he comes back into the. Okay.
I know he's trying to wrap things up, so if Kelsey's doing it, I'd rather just send it to her rather than it be something else that languishes.
It was CC Matt. I'll make sure that
Stacy Matt, okay.
someone's got.
Okay, so I move to approve that version of the minutes.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, minutes approved. Community comment. There is our police chief is our member of our community who's present. Can you use this time? Is there any update? I have an update from the mayor, which I imagine you will. So just, is there any update that you need to know about things going on with the police department?
So I think at some point, I don't remember what it was, we addressed the evidence room and some of the changes we needed to make sure that we were up to standard. That is 98% complete.
So
They hung the door yesterday. It's like one of those sliding locking doors. We have everything inside. So we have secure storage inside the room, and then we can lock the room so it meets that standard of having double entry to get in there. Hopefully by next week, we'll start transitioning everything out. While we had already done full audit of the evidence room last year, this will actually function as the second one, which would be nice. We'll be checking each piece as we take it out of the evidence room and logging into the new evidence room. But also now allows us to kind of track things a little bit better, because I'll be honest with you, currently it's a little closet and everything's kind of stuck in. So now we have things that are labeled and we have different secure areas, so things of that nature. So if we have an item, we know exactly where it's at in there, which makes things tracking a little easier. Potential for loss a little better, a little less likely. And then obviously the weapon superage, like right now, the firearms that we have are just kind of leaning against the wall. So now that we locked some gun cabinets, appropriately. So we're excited for that, looking forward to it. That's the big hurdle we had towards accreditation. What we had currently would not have met the standard. So we're working towards finalizing all the rest of the physical items that we need to do, just ensuring that our records are kept securely, things of that nature. So hopefully maybe around May, June timeframe next year, we can look to have if anybody come in and take a look at us and see if we're up to the par. It should be.
I am so excited. I know that I'm not so excited, first of all, because I think it really elevates the police department to be able to do what you're supposed to be doing correctly. I'm also excited because it was a small tap from us. It was just a call to Andrew and say, hey, you have to push this. And it got done, which is really wonderful to see the responsiveness to the borough and the partnership that we can have with this committee. So congratulations on bringing it up and making sure it happened. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Does this committee have any role whatsoever in accreditation?
No, so it's all like an outside entity coming in and examining everything we're doing, examining our reports, the building, things of that nature. So just making sure that we're doing everything correctly. On more of a community aspect. So we're into November, we're doing the No Shave November. While traditionally it was in support of cancer research and fighting cancer. This year, while albeit a great cause to support, we look to support something a little bit closer to home. Girl Scouts had asked us to come in and do like a safety brief for one of their marathons or something. We took the opportunity, since we were planning to meet with them next month, to say, hey, listen, maybe we can turn this into a community support. So it's on Facebook. We're encouraging people, if they want to support us, it gives us an opportunity when we go out and somebody mentions the beer, we can kind of say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're trying to support the Girl Scout troop. So if anyone can go onto the Facebook page, there's a Venmo link, and they can support the Girl Scouts, and hopefully we can get the word out and provide them a lot of resources they need. So we're excited for that.
Maybe we can push that out a little bit too, like just remind Andrea to repost it on like the Narberth page or different pages, because I think I kind of saw it, but as with everything, it'd be pushed out 10 times before people really register, so that's happening.
Is that what it is, 10 times? Because I was looking at you, I'm sitting here agreeing, like, I see it, right?
Okay.
And I subscribe, and so my algorithm isn't.
No, I'm making
so
a
numbers to do.
Yeah, but it just, it even I saw it, but it flicked past, because I was like, oh, that's nice, what's that again? But
And then it's time to yeah.
And where did you see it? On the,
I think, well, I do,
is it the Narberth newsletter? Because I read that and I didn't see it.
No, not
so
yet.
maybe we could put it into that, but,
Especially since November's almost over.
I do follow the Narberth Police on Facebook, so I appreciate that stuff is going out there. But as with everything with Facebook, the algorithms are weird. So sometimes things post and I don't see it until like 3 days later. I don't know why.
I'm still getting election news stuff.
I know. I don't know why Facebook.
Come on, that's fine.
It tortures us. So
Last thing I have is we actually just put it on Facebook. We've been getting a rash of pests from cars.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's been bad in the whole area, Lower Merion, still at the time. We had 2 nights ago, I think 5. All unlocked vehicles, and this ties into last week we had a car that was stolen on the south side, unlocked the keys in there. So we're really trying to push, make sure you lock your doors and get that information out. So
I actually pushed this out because I saw the Kenwood Heritage Trail say that there was a brush fire on the Kenwood Heritage Trail. So that no flame thing. Although we did get a little rain.
Is it still burning or is it already?
Oh no, they had 5 crews come out and like, I think all of Lower Merion and Narberth was there to put it out, but
I heard the sirens there.
it was Monday. Yeah, I think near the CVS section of the trail. So very
So
dry.
I think something that we can look at in addition, it is, there has to be someone who's a resource in this community who can help us understand the best use of social media to push out this message. Right? Like, we're guessing that it needs to be pushed by multiple people. There are, in fact, people who do this.
I mean, it does need to be pushed. The more people share or comment or whatever, the more it pops up into people's feeds. My question, just remind me, there is no police blotter type thing. So when you say there was 5 break-ins into cars, there's no place if I'm a borough citizen, I want to go onto the website or go onto some place to go, tell me what's happened the past 2 weeks.
nothing like that. We'll give you a list of calls.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the reporting program we have now doesn't have like a clean output. So obviously, some of those ones you see will say the 100 block, in the 200 block message or whatever the case may be. We don't have the ability to kind of push that out now without putting out people's addresses. Yep. So we're pushing, hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have the new report system up. And I haven't had the opportunity to really delve too much into it. We're kind of still learning it. I'm hoping that we can get something there or monthly we can put out like a report. So this is, what we've experienced. Now we put it in the police report to council, but that's just numbers. So you can kind of see, but it's not going to give you like last week or give you a location.
So not to get sidetracked, but LM has that blotter thing, right? So, and that just is automated, like from
So
their system.
they take a
Or does somebody actually do it?
It's complicated. They take an output from the reporting system because they currently have the same one we do.
Yeah.
They have that tab system. So they have 99 tabs in the township. They can take an address and their system will link it to a tab. And then it puts it in based on the commissioner zones or something.
Oh, so we'll do the exact.
Yeah, so they have another program. Basically, they take the information from the reporting system, then run it through this other program, turn it out, and then it just gets associated with a geographical area within the township.
Okay.
So,
That sounds like way more resources.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
So this new, which is fine, but, so this new program though might be able to, would we generate a report with limited effort from your department that we could provide to the public?
so yeah, I'm hoping we're not at that point yet. So there's like GIS interfaces where they can do like mapping and stuff. And I don't know, I gotta see how, I guess, undetailed we can get, because I don't want, again, the pinpoint of, but it's on somebody's house. But if we could kind of say, okay, it was on this block or in this area, even if we use, the neighborhoods that we created for the parking enforcement, we say, okay, there's no.
Right, I was gonna say, we already have, there's neighborhood department enforcement, there are wards,
Yeah.
that were political wards that were divided into a certain national, we can.
So I just have to make sure that we can somehow link that in.
Okay.
Ironically, the parking system is able to do it, but, our reporting system can't, which is sad to say. So hopefully the new one will.
Maybe we can link to the parking system. That's almost as good in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Great, I'm glad we're moving in that direction,
Yes.
more transparency. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Any questions for the chief? Oh, thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
I realized yesterday that there's a communication glitch and I read the meeting date, so
No worries.
appreciate the last minute. Moving on, the update from the mayor is, I talked to Andrew yesterday, almost a direct overlap. The evidence room is really the exciting thing, that it's almost done, which is great. The cars, and then she also mentioned that we're in the final stages of contract negotiation with the police force. That she's not directly involved with that. We have a separate solicitor that works. I don't know if they work with you or they work directly with the union.
Fully involved. So,
Totally.
yeah, the manager and labor council negotiate with, unions council and union directly.
Okay.
So what I can tell you that I've heard is that both sides have made an agreement. I don't know which one comes first, if the union has to vote and then council votes, but my understanding is like some, but just both sides are done.
Well, it's great if it's favorable to your force. So I hope that.
My understanding is they're going to accept it, so.
Okay. Okay.
Great if it's done.
I'm sorry, but.
Great if it's done.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. That's true. It's great if it's done. It's also great if your union is, representing interests in a positive way. So that's also great.
Yes.
So that's moving along. And then the other update is just making sure that everyone knows about the personnel changes in the borough. Matt is leaving as borough manager at the end of the year. He got a great offer from Plymouth Township, I think, one of the larger townships in the area, which is not surprising given how wonderful he is, and certainly a great move for him. And Alan, who was also a wonderful asset to the borough, moved to San Diego, so he's sort of wrapping up his responsibilities here. All I know is that they are interviewing people. They are close to making a choice, but it hasn't been through borough council yet, so there's nothing that can be announced. But there will be someone replacing Matt when it
And what position is that?
borough manager.
Borough manager.
Yeah, it's to me that's not a surprise that someone at that stage of their career who's so good gets elevated. That's what happened.
Although he hasn't been here that long, this shift, so usually you hope someone's gonna stay at least 2 years.
At least 2 years.
That was the old days.
That is true.
That was in our days.
I don't know if that's something that we can contract with the next hire if we really like that.
And you can incentivize.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it.
They were so short on managers, he got head on,
Yeah.
it is insane how many opportunities are out there for managers because no one wants to do the job.
Oh.
So, Nicole Beck from Lafayette, she's the one that did, I guess, 2 searches ago, did the search for the police department. And talking to her, she said she's had more openings than people she knows.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me. I mean, we're a well-run borough right now. Well, we're small, and we offer a reasonable salary. But for someone, it strikes me as the right position for the right person, depending on where they are in their career and their life. But for someone who's young and on their way up, and it doesn't surprise me that this is a way station. Okay, so that is all that I have from the mayor. Discussion items for us. The biggest thing is our new charge. It was supposed to get, I'm going to hand it over to Katie. It was supposed to get approved at the last public health and safety meeting. We had made changes, proposed changes. Jean had made one slight tweak, it really minor, to what we had said, and then that was supposed to go to PHS. But if I couldn't be at the meeting, Katie wonderfully stood up.
I attended the meeting, and Chief Stringer's also there. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the other members of the committee were like, you didn't get to read it because the format that Jean sent it in was difficult for them to open up. So she had to resend it after the meeting so they could read it. So nothing was voted on or discussed even. I mean, I discussed it and said, we're happy with Jean's tweet. That was fine. So there's no more kind of editing from us, but they still have to go through it.
Can I just add, how come they didn't just pull it up and discuss it when they just had a time?
Yeah, I mean, I think they had a lot of things to cover at that meeting.
That's
And I think the document, people like to just be able to like look at them in their own time. I think Jean sent it in pages or something. It was something that I couldn't access on my phone either. But I found that if I opened it up on my laptop and did like a conversion, it would like pop up, but
That's fine. I tend to only do document work on my computer.
yeah, exactly. I think it's always a good lesson to make sure like what you're sending it out. Like either, it's something people can access or a Google Doc.
So to our end, I just circulated again this morning the final draft. Jean expects that the committee is going to accept it. However, being at the meetings enough times, I do find that changes do get proposed. There's a reason things are done by committee. Different people have different priorities and different ways to put eyes on it. So I personally don't feel comfortable with us completely proceeding until it's finalized, although it will be more or less what we've said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what you just sent is what
I just sent is her is her comments. So here's what I'm proposing. I'm proposing that we cancel our December meeting. Let this get finalized because now it has to go back to public health and safety and then to borough council, presented to borough council. So that's not going to happen this week. It's going to happen next week.
Right.
And I'm sorry, not this month. It'll happen next month. And then start meeting back in January when we can set with a fresh slate where we can set our new agenda for whatever we're going to be pursuing.
And do we have any 2025 dates?
No, that's other on the agenda. We need to come up with our schedule for next year. I'm happy to jump to that.
Okay.
So, we have had this sort of hybrid schedule of some like 6 o'clock meetings, I think, and some 7:30 a.m. meetings. Do people want to proceed that way, or is there a time that we like? I do find that reliable schedules work for all participants. I'll put it that way, but I am also not opposed if what reliable means is alternating schedule.
I liked that they weren't all at 7:30, but
I'm a fan of the 7:30. Personally,
I'm also flexible. I forget, what was the reason why it moved to Wednesday this week? Was there something?
So what we realized is that Thursdays that we scheduled are actually the borough council meetings in the evenings.
Okay.
So it's a prohibitively long day for string
Okay.
for anyone else who wants to participate in both our meetings and Borough Council.
So are we thinking of moving it to Wednesday then?
I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, okay.
Wednesdays at 7:30 are not the best time for me.
Okay.
Okay, so let me back up.
Yeah.
How many, let's do a show of hands, 7:30 a.m. meetings. Who does that work for?
In general, but there are days that it makes it prohibitively long days.
Okay.
Right.
So what days now, since all of our schedules change over time, but at the moment, what days, Wednesday is not the best for me. Thursday we can do, but not the Thursday of Borough Council meetings.
What about just keeping them on Mondays, whether we alternate the times, but like that?
Monday at 7:30. Oh, wake up. I can do it.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with Mondays. I mean, does that run into anybody's long weekend if they go away or?
I mean, presumably it could, but presumably if we schedule and we avoid the long, we're not doing MLK Day or President's Day.
Right, but I'm just like, but I'm also thinking of like, if you just go on out of town on a random weekend and then.
So I have.
Oh, you empty nester.
Just going out of town for one weekend unless there's a predictable holiday. Ken's the same way. The two of you are differently situated.
You might have lives.
Yeah. Well, or relatives I'm checking up on in anywhere. I mean, sometimes I since I do have like a thing Wednesday that I have to be here for, so I tend to kind of like schedule my.
What about Tuesdays? Does Tuesdays work?
I mean, the 7:30, yes. The Monday's still my best night, but the morning is, I'll make a schedule
Should we
7:30.
just the calendar just to see if there's another?
So the next question is, do we need monthly meetings or do we want to do bi-monthly meetings? That just, when we're working on something, work,
Yeah.
monthly catches on track,
Right.
but
Should we do the system where we book them and advertise them and then cancel them?
I think that works well.
To give us the flexibility of whether we meet in a particular month?
The only question is if we're doing an alternating schedule, that'll skew it a little in terms of when we cancel, but I don't know if that really matters.
I say we just keep it at 7:30 if there's no, I mean, it was, the reason that we had moved it was specifically hard for John to make it.
Yeah.
If it becomes hard, we can change the schedule, if someone's life changes, we can change the schedule.
Yeah.
So Tuesdays makes it easier for long, if we need to get away this year.
Tuesday's a little better, but, is there anything else at 7:30 on Tuesdays?
I'm just going there.
Or 8 or something that would be close.
No.
Well, while you're putting it up, have you had a chance to read the chart?
I know the updated one now.
Okay.
I just got the one this morning.
Okay. The one piece I'll highlight, I think, is that we went light on the research, but included it in terms of just that statement of helping to provide research. So last time around, our first charge was to do a deep dive into the data of the police, what are the demographics, all this stuff. And it was interesting. I don't know that it actually, thankfully, pulled out that much. But if that is the type of thing that is helpful, that at some point some group is doing a yearly review of the data, that might make sense for us to be a part of.
Okay, so interestingly enough, starting in June of next year, there's a state law that's going to require that all police departments that serve a community over 5,000 individuals. We're right now under that, but we're.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I was looking at it.
There's a new, it's Act 18, I believe, 2024, will mandate that all police departments serving communities over 5,000 residents report all their traffic stop, searches, things. There's a list of things that you have to report as far as demographics, search or search warrant, things of that nature. So we have to report to the state police, or there's an outside entity. I think it's Ohio State University that'll do an analysis. So that's actually the state's taking that one now.
Even though we're under 5,000, you're still
We're
going to
gonna,
report.
oh, we're gonna report just voluntarily, I guess, or, you know,
Is that an extra layer of work for you, or it's putting work on the state?
I'm very hopeful. So I talked to this new reporting agency, and they said that they are grading their program to be able to fit to that. So 'cause right now, like, if we don't do a lot of searches, but if we search a car, short of reading the report to see what the officer says, I don't know if it was a consent search or if it was a search based on probable cause because they saw something, or if they had a search warrant, you know.
Uh-huh.
This new reporting system, they know that this law is coming out. They are making the system so that all that information will be like check boxes. So we could run a report real quick and get all that number to the state. So
Would it be possible just for you, when you get the first printed report or generated report, to share it with us
sure.
so that we can see what the data collection looks like?
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And then we can figure out, based on what the charge is going to say about data, how often we want to check it, when it helps, when it doesn't, you know, that we can just understand already. The other thing that we limited in the charge, you can see in the revisions, was they had initially said that we should be planning, what was it, like 3 to 5, like social events, and we're not already finished, you know. So we pushed that back, you know, the police chief and the mayor have their relationship, we can help facilitate that, but that our role is more to do that type of thing to get the feel from it. Calendar. Tuesdays at 9 a.m. at least every other week. New Horizons has the council room reserved. Now we're usually done.
That's probably the big room though, isn't it?
They might have, depending on what they're doing, they might do something here.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but we're,
But that's not every week,
and we'd be done.
and we'd be done.
I certainly hope so.
We are always wrapped up by 9.
Yeah. But they might need to get in early, right? They might need to get in early to
June.
set up. So presumably we can just schedule on not those weeks.
Correct.
For what it's worth, they are very understanding of the borough's business, expressing it real world. You know, if they have something, so. 'Cause we
Yeah,
have-
but it's a nice resource. If we can work around it, I'd rather work around it.
Yeah, but they're very flexible. Like I understand, we had a meeting that went well, a meeting went long. And, you know, they understood, so.
Okay. Commissioner? I'm looking to see if there's a schedule, like a pattern to it. Because it's not every week. There also does not seem to be a pattern to it. So since we're scheduling for 2025, we can choose what Tuesday. Since Borough Council, their workshop meeting is the beginning of the month. Public health and safety is the second Friday of the month. So we should meet either the first or the second Tuesday is my recommendation. Does anyone have looking at the schedules, their schedules, does anyone have a preference? Okay, I'm just gonna put it on, how about the first Tuesday of the month at 7:30 a.m.
Seems to conflict big time.
Actually, I'm going back and I'm thinking if it's after the Borough Council workshop meeting, we may have, if there's any new information that we do.
So that would be
Right, it's maybe
The second Tuesday?
the second Tuesday.
I mean, in general, anyway, it's fine.
I'm sorry,
In general, it's fine.
in April, that hits tax day, Passover, and spring break, I guess.
so let's just preemptively say we're canceling
But
April.
we could probably cancel that.
April 8th is before spring break. It's before, I mean,
Oh, April 8th, yes, sorry, I was looking at 15th.
yeah, no, because it's the first.
Yeah.
So April, I mean,
So, yeah, okay.
So we're talking about second Tuesday every month? It looks fine.
Second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah. With the idea.
We don't yet know what the library is.
Canceled.
That would be,
Time. But there's always gonna be one thing.
There's always gonna be something.
Schedule around it, yeah. Okay.
But it does at least miss the election day in November.
really? Alright, okay.
Are we off now, our line?
No.
No, everyone's
Still
online.
online, just.
I just turned off TV because I had to plug in.
Okay, and then the final thing that I have on here is just, you had sent us an email, Katie, but do you want to update us in meeting on, it sounds like, yeah, we all know the website needs to improve.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, before we move on, should we be putting this on our calendar now, or is not definite yet?
I just want to send it to Matt to make sure there's no unseen conflict.
And then you'll send us an email, so then because I don't want to put it on unless
Sure,
it's not confirmed.
I will confirm it and then send it to you.
Thanks.
Al used to get back to me with conflicts, so I will make sure that I ask Matt to get back.
So. Yeah, so.
And just keep, I'm canceling the December.
So quick update, I did start that Google Doc that I promised last time. Sorry, it took me a while to get to it. And I think I made it accessible to
Yes,
everyone on the
I was able
committee.
to open it.
I didn't make it public, but hopefully you guys are able to view it and add things. So I kind of just started with like the things we talked about in the last meeting and things that were in my head. But if anyone else wants to kind of add, that can just be like a running list of things we want to do with what the website, what can be improved. And yes, talking to Jean and also talking to Kelsey, it sounds like website redesign or improvement is on the slate for 2025. So we don't need to get too gung-ho about it right now because changes are coming. But just to keep in mind, like the things that we want, that we feel like what residents are going to want to see when they go to the website to ask a question about the police, or even just, we could think of like an FAQ that we want to have ready, like, how do I reach the Narberth police? Or what do I do if there's a dead raccoon in my driveway? You know, like we can anticipate what would an FAQ, I mean, maybe you can even help us with that, like what are the kinds of questions, random questions that residents have that you feel like if we could just answer in an FAQ, maybe people wouldn't have to be calling the office as much. So,
Yeah, if you have repeat questions.
Yes.
Remind me, is it just website or was it also the communications piece on the document? Like we talked at one point about an annual report that the police could put out to the community, which
the Google Doc, I feel like I was focused
just the website.
more on website, but also different parts of the website. So the police department has a page, but then we want to think about just how it presents. You know, not everyone maybe finds that page immediately. Sometimes they're on the MyGov page. Some things live on the MyGov page, like that suggestion box lives in MyGov. So we would want to have a link to it from the police department page. So the navigation stuff is also important. And I guess that's the other thing is we were finding last time when we met that the anonymous part of the suggestion box wasn't functioning.
Correct.
So that's what I talked to Alan and Kelsey about.
So we'll have to reach out to MyGov and figure out, on their end, how we set that up.
Yeah, and I had like corresponded with somebody at MyGov like a few months ago just to say, because I was like, is it entirely anonymous? Like, is it fully anonymous, this option, whatever? And they're like, yep, it can be, it can be fully anonymous. So I don't know what way Alan set it up, if there was something else that needed to be tweaked or if it's just a difficult platform to work with, which is also entirely possible. But right now, I think I looked at it again yesterday and like, when it first pops up, it says something like, you know, do you want to remain anonymous? And then that disappeared and it just showed me the screen.
So that's still happening?
Putting in the name and email address. So, I'll see, yeah, I can keep talking to Kelsey too and see like what she's seen at her end, or maybe I'll even come in and look at what she's seeing like on the back end, like the website. And
Yeah, the website's on desktop. I know we are, I think WordPress or something, like trying to get things to work through that. That's why I think they said we're going to kind of just
yeah,
wait until they redo everything.
yeah, I think the borough stuff is on WordPress, and then MyGov is for all the permits and requests and
Yes, I guess.
parking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a third party.
Yeah.
program. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in progress, but we're
I think that
we're getting somewhere.
we're getting somewhere, which is great. If we have our blueprint and our information so that whoever is building the page just has the information already, that's great. We haven't,
Yes, yeah.
Issues here.
Yeah, I think the FAQ would be a nice, friendly community touch.
Okay, so this is a formal ask. If there are repeat questions that you think should make it, if you could send them to Katie, please.
Sure.
That'd be great. If you
Yeah.
could just add it to the
And if you know the answers, that's also great. Or, but even if it's just even if it's just a question, yeah, and wording and stuff, don't worry about that. We can always, you know, I'm a word person, so I can.
He is awesome. That's right. Clearly.
Yeah, I just don't want you to like worry about it, like just send stuff because you have enough going on. But yeah.
I have a very foundational question. I don't think we have an answer, but I'm sitting here wondering, when do people first contact the police in their lives in Narber? And how is it that they figure out what to do? Because my experience was when I was raising my kids, and maybe the first time I thought there was a break-in and it turned out the dog was trying to get my rabbit cage. But like so break-in, like, yeah, you call the police, but like a raccoon that looks suspicious, maybe, I know now, I don't know how many people in Narberth, coming from a certain demographic really know, and like, do people just like go and look at the Narberth Police Facebook? Like, I don't know if there's an answer.
There's not an answer, and I think that's part of the problem. Is that the police want everything to go through 911. You need the police, call 911.
Right.
You need the police for, what happens if I have an identity theft issue? You still want us to call 911, right? So whereas my inclination when I had that issue was like, oh, the police department, find someone to take a report, So pushing out that everything goes to 911 is really, I think, what we need to be thinking, the crux of what we need to be thinking for the beginning of the year.
So then that sort of, and that's what I thought we had agreed.
Yeah.
It's like, so where do you put that message? Like, are people, and it's not just like one thing, right? It's not going to be just the website. And so that's when we need different generations of people suggesting where we put the information. Like younger people and how they share information, which most of us don't know. Maybe Kim does better than all of us, but.
So this is our task. This is our task before the second Tuesday of January.
Okay.
Is everyone think through. We know that one of the projects we're going to be working on in 2025 is pushing out 911. That's the answer. How do I reach the police? 911. What do I do if there's a squirrel in my front yard that's dead? 911. What if I,
So our FAQ will all have the same answer?
Yes.
I know, there's a couple I've already thought of. We'll say 911.
Like 20 questions, the answer is all gone.
It's like a theme, I'll just go on half that Main Street in Narberth and like with art.
Just have it do 911.
Is there a way, so it doesn't look like scary police, that it's like people's eyes, I mean, because I'm walking there a lot now with my grandson, and like, the artwork is interesting, and is there a way to get some artists who can make it like really fun and interesting and include that as maybe as a theme we push out other ways, and so it's like really visible in different ways.
I think that's a fine idea. I think a lit drop to everyone's house is not all that difficult. If we, I can
I
do
think
it
that's
in
a great
3 afternoons
idea.
in South Narberth. We can divide it up and print out an inexpensive postcard that we drop at everyone's house. I think that there are a lot of ideas and things that we can do.
Okay.
Or just as an add-on to the newsletter, like maybe, quarterly or something, or.
And each one of us is saying something that we personally do. Like, I don't know if I read the newsletter, Katie, but like, and I never thought about going door to door because I hadn't done a lot of that.
Right, we are. It's all the things that
But I'm walking down the street with my grandson, and so the more people we get with different
Ideas.
experiences will give us different ideas for the rest of it.
I agree. So this is the end of what I had planned on us discussing today. Simply because I want the charge finalized to make sure what we're doing is in line with what we're being asked to do. My expectation is that January 1st, we start, and we can move along with the website to the extent that we have it, that we start doing a hard programming of how to push out the 911 message. And then the second thing that we start the year off with is, okay, look at the charge. What are the other things right now that we should be doing?
Well, while Chief String is here, because I think the last time we talked about 911, you weren't. My 2 questions. One, does Lower Marion have the same policy about call 911 for everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Not everyone does it, but that's.
But I care about Lower Marion mostly because we talked about the school district as giving consistent messaging and that they weren't necessarily giving the consistent messaging. So how do we get to them? Because honestly, that will be the ultimate to kids and to their parents.
The odd thing, I guess, with Lower Marion is they still maintain, they have their old communication center there, and they can route a call up. They have that ability because it's an actual dispatcher's desk. So it has all those connections. So if you call 619-1000 and say, hey, I have a dead raccoon in my front lawn, they're going to say, okay, hold on 1 second, and they're going to make a transfer, and you're going to get to the 911. So I think that's where a lot of people in Lower Marion don't realize. They're like, oh, I'll call 619-1000. Well, you talk to a 911 dispatcher.
Right.
Just you added an extra layer to it. So,
But how do we get to the schools is more my point, because they're not giving consistent messaging. And that's they're saying don't call, or at least some of the teachers, don't call 911 because that's a waste of emergency.
Right. And you're supposed to call 649?
That's their police number.
yeah, if you look up, no, you're not supposed to call that. But if you look,
But you're saying that that's what they're telling. There's in Lower Marion Township in the schools, they're saying call 649-1000?
no, I'm just saying that I've run into residents that say, I don't call 911, I call 649-1000. But I'm like, well, you get the 911. You just,
As a Lower Marion employee, like someone that works in Lower Marion, when I need to get to the police, I usually call the 649 number.
So
It's not usually for an emergency, it's more, can I talk to officer?
Yeah.
is that we find our counterparts in Lower Marion and we address the school board, right? There's a way.
Well, I guess my question is, does it come from us or does it come from the police?
Yes, but again, we can figure that out.
Yeah.
But as I'm creating this list of things that we need, I'm not creating tasks for us right now.
Yep.
As we're creating tasks to push this out, I think that the first 6 months of next year is a good time to be doing this. How do we approach the school board is a project that we can figure out what the best use of resources is. If it is a letter from the police department that we can draft that Chief String sends, great. If we think that they're going to want us to testify, maybe we don't put Chief String on it because that's adding something else to his plate, and maybe we do it.
Is the 649-1000 an old system that Lower Marion's going to move?
It's just their phone number.
yeah, like if you go, like we have the 2840 line here. So if you call 664-2840, you're going to get, we don't have somebody's picking up the phone. You go through the ring down system where you hit 1, 2, whatever that is. That's their number over there, same thing. Like,
That's going to do 911 eventually. If you
ours
do that.
don't. We don't have that all that connection. So that's the problem. Now, we say on there, I think in 2 different occasions, if you need to speak with an officer, please hang up and call 911. It's still on. So, it's just that Lower Marion has the added benefit of having somebody 24 hours a day that's going to answer the phone all the time. So now during the day, Kelsey will do the same thing, but she can't transfer people until ask them to hang up and call 911.
What does it take to get a system where she can transfer them? No.
I mean, I can't remember, I'm totally off the cuff here, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, no, it's like, it is a dispatch center, so imagine what the county has. Now granted, they only have like 3 consoles over there, but still it's a ton of money.
So, I don't know if this is too much and we don't want to spend more time on it, just say we'll deal with this later. But my question is this, this policy of call 911 is sounding more and more to me like this is just Narber.
No, it's not.
It's
It's not. What we're saying is it's not. This is what Lower Marion is also doing.
But a lot of people call 649-1000.
But then they just get transferred to 911.
I apologize for the confusion. I wanted to put that out there because my fear was we talked to a resident in Lower Marion and said, I don't call 911, I call this number. Lower Marion has this extra number. Lower Marion has the ability to transfer everybody. So all the calls coming to Lower Marion, unless you need to talk to a detective that's sitting in their office, or if you need to see an officer, you're going to get routed out to 911. So, but there are residents in Lower Marion that don't realize that they're calling to 911.
I imagine a lot too, and that's what we're up against.
Yeah, so that might be the little battle that we got to fight, because if people at school board go, no, I call 64911, and maybe some of the members of the school board say that, and they just don't realize they're calling out. So it might be a little bit more of a battle that way.
Whereas for us, because we can't transfer, we're trying to project the message, call directly to
Right.
Now, if Lower Marion pushes out that message, call 911 rather than the number,
Right, then it will be.
it doesn't hurt them, because the same
Right,
thing is
and that will
happening.
be, it's because what we're looking for is clear, consistent messaging of call. Like for everybody who lives in this area, that's the issue, so that you don't have somebody saying, I called 911 for the dead raccoon, and the other person saying, why did you do that? You wasted resources. I called this number and it says I should. Like that's what we have to address, right?
So, I'm gonna at this point stop this conversation, because this is not an action item for today. I think it's good, since you're here, that we're getting some of this information. Pause this here.
I apologize, I could have run to the other meeting.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
See you in January.
Yes, I'll see you in January. I'll look at your last questions. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other topic to raise today?
Did anyone try to access that Google Doc?
I did access what? Yeah, it
The
was,
Google Doc that I sent.
it worked for me.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, meeting adjourned. See you in January.
Okay. Thank you.